Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets, joined today by Chris O'Connor, who served 60 years on an alternate timeline in the Secret Space Program, the SSP, known as part of the 20 and Back program. The 20 and Back program refers to a covert space initiative in which participants serve 20-year terms in off-world operations before being age regressed or moved into a clone of the appropriate age and return to Earth, often with their memories suppressed. All right, so Chris, I was just talking to you before the show. I've been reading, some of your book that you have out, and it is phenomenal. I'm getting crazy downloads. Man of Mimas, is that how you pronounce that?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful book. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow. I've been regressed in Gaia. They had me in Gaia for several shows and had an expert come in and regress me so I could go into those memories, which are, like you're talking about, they're suppressed. And I just had a flood of stuff to come out. Wow, it was great. But you have been able to tap into that. So it's going to be quite an interesting conversation. So thanks for joining us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Michael, thank you so much for inviting me on.
Absolutely. I saw you with Carrie Cassie. That was a great show. Hopefully we can get into some deeper aspects in this one. Now, tell us a little bit about your background, from the childhood, how you got into the program and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's interesting. Before I incarnated here on Earth, I actually made an agreement. My soul family and I, people I work with, as we all have, we had a plan, and I wanted to represent the Earth on the space station and the Earth Embassy on the MEMIS station. The only way I could do that, because for the most part there is a non-contact with Earth. It's very limited contact. You have to get special permission by the Confederation of Planets, and it's a whole thing. So there is a caveat to that if you incarnate through the human race, and this is the same for any race that's evolving, if you incarnate through them, then any memories that come through, you can talk about. So it's not considered interference. So that's the reason I went through the incarnation route, because otherwise I couldn't just like pop in on Earth, that was being not allowed. So we made an agreement that when I was 2 years old, they would basically take me. When I say they, I am generally referring to the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Air Force, and because they work together collaboratively off planet, which is kind of now it's Space Force really, but
yeah, exactly.
Didn't have it then.
Thank you, President.
Yeah. So they took me and they age advanced me. They have technology to do that. Now that advancement process isn't fun by any means. Basically, it's what they do is they'll take you. Here I am. I was 2 years old, so they took my 2-year-old self in 1970. I was born in 1968. 1970, they came and got me. And then they took me somewhere. I don't know where. I was 2. I didn't know. But I just remembered it was very medical looking, like a laboratory. And long story short, I was stripped down and cleaned and placed in these, it was just like a large acrylic tube, laying horizontally. And it was like halfway or so filled with this pink liquid, sort of a gel, but not quite.
Yeah.
And so they drowned me in it, and the first several seconds were quite terrifying. And I remember all of that really well. Obviously, it's traumatizing. And then they flush the tank and fill it again. And basically, my brain realized that even though it was much more difficult because I'm not getting air in my lungs, I'm getting liquid. But my body and brain calmed down because they were getting enough oxygen.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's a highly oxygenated fluid. And it's
So
based
let
on the DNA.
me stop you there and kind of regress a little bit, if you will.
Sure.
You're before you came in, so you said you had an agreement, and now you've talked about your past lives, and how in depth have you gone into your past life memories and so forth? How many past lives and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I clearly don't remember them all. I remember highlights, obviously, but I have had 2,876,000 lifetimes.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
But most of us have had that many or very similar.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had the thing that really I think initiated my memories of the secret space program was going into my past lives and having past life memories, and then it kind of like just opened another door for me. Did you have any of that experience as well?
I absolutely, yes.
Okay.
I have memories of other planets. I have memories of being an animal. I have memories of my chronological last Earth life. It was on the island of Kauai, and the guy's name was Walter Duncan McBride. And
I heard you talked about that, and there with Carrie Cassidy. That was fascinating.
Yeah,
and how you had all those memories, and now you live in Hawaii and you see all the stuff that you did in that lifetime. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, had I not moved to that island, interestingly, that actual town that he founded, and I didn't know that at all. I mean, I had none of the memories when I moved there. I just knew I was listening to guidance, and they're like, "Okay, here's a house over here. Try to get that one." And
so
I did.
That's interesting. The past life memory seems to open some kind of block that we have as SSP guys. Is that what you feel too?
Yeah, I find what it is when one memory unlocks or comes in, then it brings others with it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And you think because of all your past lifetimes, and probably some of them are pretty significant, that's why you were chosen for this mission?
Yes, because what I did was work on I don't know, James Rink says, "Well, Chris, I guess we all need politicians." Like, I wasn't really a politician, James, but for the most part, I worked in an ambassadorial type of a role.
Yeah.
Because I worked with a lot of races and I had the ability to telepathically connect. And I wasn't the only one. There were several of us.
Wow. And you kind of mentioned James Rink there. I saw that you were, and I was going to go to this one, the October 8th last year. Unfortunately, he passed away soon after that. I think he's probably was targeted, but you spoke at that one.
Yes.
So your word's getting out there. This is great. You got a book. You got this healing modality that we're going to talk about here in a minute, or at some point. Okay, so sorry to interrupt, but this is like, oh my God, I got somebody that I could talk to about all this stuff.
It kind of makes sense,
So you're kind of like helping me put the pieces of the puzzle together. So I love it. I'm sure maybe there's probably other people out there. That's how it happened for me. People started coming up to me and saying, you're in the secret space program, right? And I'm like, no, kind of. So, and then it started to happen for me. So
elaborate, right?
Yeah. And I started going, all the way back to, like you're talking about, back when I was very young. And then the memories started coming through. Now, I don't remember the process that you went through, but I do remember being age accelerated. But I was doing stuff and it was painful. It was almost like getting some kind of like super high tech steroid or something. And I grew a lot faster than normal, painfully. But the stuff I was learning, it was great. So let's go back to where you're in this acrylic tube or whatever. I have memories of being in those tubes as well for healing when I was killed in combat. So that's very interesting.
Well, it's the same technology, really. Yeah. I in my case, and I'm sure I can't speak for anybody else, that gel, that pink GHK-Cu or whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
is based on your own personal DNA. So it's grown and then highly oxygenated, and then but the whole body needs to be able to take it in. So what they then did was, there's all these little holes, rubber holes on the edges of all the way around the acrylic tube, and they would stick these large needles in.
Mm-hmm.
And they would go into the certain organs and joints and bones and brain and all this stuff. And what that did was that got that gel inside the body, so the inside of the body would grow at the same rate as whatever's exposed to the exterior. So basically, I was a 2-year-old suspended in a tube of pink gel by needles.
Mm.
There's a scene in the movie Wolverine Origins.
Yeah.
Where they put I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a liquid metal into his bones.
Yeah.
And when I first saw that, I was like, you gotta be kidding. They actually put this in the movie. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Of course, it was a different thing, but it was the pink gel, growth gel. But yeah, so I was in there for like,
it was Avatar, where he's in that tank.
Mhm.
I have memories being in the tank like that, and having, like these tubes and, stuff like you're talking about, inserted in me and my DNA, they had my DNA, they have all of our DNA, so they can reconfigure us if we lose limbs or die. I remember being dead, and as long as they refurbished me to a certain extent, my soul would come back into my body within a certain period of time. So you got like 40 days, 30 to 40 days before your soul is like, whoop, gone. So if they can refurbish your body, you will go back into your body.
Well, and they can put your soul in a stasis as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because it's all vibrational, it's all frequency, and it's the frequency that our pineal gland puts out that they match that technology. In fact, that's where this originally came from.
Nice.
Was theirs can pull consciousness out. They could erase memory with theirs and all. Mine doesn't do that, but and so what it does is it just, you can just suck it out and then put it in a copy. I mean, from my understanding, it can only really be a DNA match body.
Mm-hmm.
Because the pineal gland frequency, that has to be able to connect. And then that way, I'm honestly, because, I was killed once and I had to get moved one time. A second time was part of a negotiation. I wanted to be put in a 20-year younger body. And then the fourth body, which is this one, was 2 years old in 2030, and they moved me back to 1970. So
wow. So was the Dean's device used during that time frame? Oh
yeah, absolutely. That's how I know about it.
Okay, during that, yeah. That's really that would make sense. You have a very traumatic experience, so it really locks in. So tell us a little bit about this Dean's device. This is fascinating.
Yeah, well, this is it. This is one of the versions of it. There's a couple. It's actually 13 magnets in series in the handle.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the circuit that's created magnetic frequency and the circulation of that magnetic field wants to come up and around this magnet, but this one is polarized this direction. So as the energy comes up and around, it's pushed out, and that creates a vortex. And that vortex you can penetrate your body with, and it's a piezoelectric energy and a magnetic energy, and it's excellent for pain relief. It helps with all sorts of amazing things, and that's what we used it for. But the one in the SSP is electronic, and so it can be programmed. This is not. This is simply as natural as you can possibly get to create magnetic energy and piezoelectric, because the piezoelectric, some people say piezo, I don't know, whatever.
Sure.
Energy is what the brain creates, and it's what the nervous system uses. So this creates, and there's two ways to create a piezoelectric energy. One is to crush a crystal, the spark that'll come out of that.
Yeah.
That's piezoelectric energy. the other is to, turn a magnet against its, desired position. So right now, this is how it wants to rest. But I turn it and I put it in, and that creates piezoelectric energy because I'm going against the magnetic field.
Yeah.
And so so that's the whole concept of it. And
then you have like the 7 chakra level crystals, different colored crystals, right?
I do. I'm having to have many hundreds of them recut, and it takes a while, but yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I took them off
right now.
Pardon?
Big demand right now.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Gotta get my order in quick, huh? So,
yeah. I mean,
my audience is going to be all over this. So, yeah, I better get it in right away. So,
yeah. Well, it might take a couple months for some people to get it. It depends how quickly they order. There's not too many that I've already built that are left.
Yeah.
They all have to be rebuilt again. And I build every single one myself. So
wow.
It takes a little while, but
yeah,
I can get them out.
Yeah, I'm sure you got the right frequency and vibration to build them too. So that's something that you can't just teach somebody right overnight. So
I know every single one is prayed over, and it's like energy put into it. And
oh wow,
yeah,
good, even better. So let's go into so you basically they built you up, and then they started to put you into the program. And this is something that you had volunteered for. Yes. And let's go into that aspect. There's so many questions. I mean, I want to get to the moon part, and that's going to be good too. So how do you get to where you're supposed to be from that little child, and they're like age progressing you?
Well, once they age advanced me, they had to unlock my memories.
Wow.
Which then they did. Because our memories are all there. It's just they're scrambled so that we can't access them. And that's part of the veil of forgetting when we become incarnated.
Right here, yeah. Huh.
But if you know the frequency, because time's a wave, and, as the wave travels through the valleys and troughs of a wave, right? Each peak has a timestamp, and each valley has a timestamp. So if they want to erase your memory or scramble it really, then they know the timestamps of the time period they want to do that. And so then they go in and they program that, and they push a button, and you forget, and it's scrambled, and you can't remember or access. Your brain can't access the memories is what it is, but they can reverse it also. They can unscramble those memories. And so that's what they did. And when they did, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember why I'm here now. I remember what my, mission is, my job, my desire. And so for the first 20 years, I was pretty much on Earth for the most part, because my agreement was I would give 20 years in service to the United States. So since they were going to host me, and, this was all stuff they were doing. So for 20 years, I kind of learned how to use the DEEMs, or they don't call it the DEEMs, but I do. I learned how to, do memory transfer, and I've learned how to, access telepathic and empathic abilities, so I could communicate with other beings. And so that, that takes a while. So the first 20 years was pretty much here on Earth, out in the deserts, underground, so.
Yeah, I have memories of training underground in different facilities, and then going out in space and doing all kind of crazy stuff. Maybe we'll get into some of that, but I'm gonna read just a little quick paragraph from your book, Man of Mimas, and so just so everybody can see. Just hearing you talk, everybody's, I'm sure, at this point, like stunned with the amount of information you have. You can't perceive higher densities without the right technology or training. Your eyes, ears, even your mind are not tuned to those frequencies by default. But governments, especially those involved in space operations, do have the technology to pierce these veils. They have something which I call a density engine. So I'm not going to give any more, so you have to go read the book. But wow, I mean, it's like, and then you started talking about different frequencies and dimensions and so forth, and I was like, now I understand. Just like you were talking about the time, how they can, you know, program you so you don't remember. Wow, that's you have you brought back a lot of knowledge. Now, was that part of what you came here for, so that you could share some of this?
Yes, it's kind of broad sweeping.
Yeah.
Mission is just to help with disclosure and help bring information so people can begin to open their mind, open their thinking, and understand the greater cosmos and our place in it, because we have a tremendous place that we've been tricked into forgetting about that.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the veil. I mean, you know, unfortunately, religion and politics and a number of things that were put in place so that we will fight one another and be separated, and we're not seeking source or God.
Mm-hmm.
So we are distracted, and that was the whole goal. So that's why I'm speaking out, because I'm like, let's not be distracted anymore. Let's look into it. And I tell people, you don't have to believe what I say. Honestly, it doesn't matter if anybody believes what I say. Mm-hmm. What matters to me is they hear what I have to say with an open mind.
Right. Very good.
At some point, something might be of assistance to them. And that's my whole goal.
That's fantastic. And you're like me, you're all about love too. And that's one of the valuable things that you're sharing, in which I share. Now, this is interesting because it seems like for me, I'm still in that, you know, warrior, you know, mindset, you know, trying to, you know, defeat this deep state apparatus, this control system that's keeping us, you know, dumbed down to a certain extent, to a great extent, really, like you're revealing right now and in your book. So where do you see yourself right now?
I mean, I'm just here, you know, trying to create an environment of no judgment, and mm-hmm. hearing people and expressing myself to help support others. So they don't know that, they don't believe they're crazy, because that's one thing we're all told. We're vivid dreamers, we're, you know, psychotic break or whatever it might be. I've heard it all. You know? And I want people to know, if you have memories, you have things going on in your life, and they're difficult to quantify, right? With the reality, with the day-to-day, what we've been taught and told. That's okay. I mean, you know, let those things come in and just put them up on a shelf in your mind, but don't reject them. Mm-hmm. As soon as we begin rejecting them, we become disingenuine to our own soul.
Good point. Mm-hmm.
And we're here to evolve the soul. That's why we're here. And then part of evolving our own personal soul is to support others in their soul evolution. And so we got to just trust ourselves and be non-judgmental about it.
So I see Lisa Schermerhorn. She says, I have one. It's amazing. Lucky girl.
Yeah. I love Lisa.
She's amazing. But, you know, some of us have these memories, and I've talked to people over the years. I used to, you know, do one-on-ones and so forth. And I would tell people, you were part of the secret space program. And they're like, really? And as for me, it's very obvious for some people, you know, but I don't really, at this point, I'm not, hey, you are all secret. I don't do that anymore, because it's like you have to, you know, find, like I did and like you did, you have to find your own experience, you know, what's going to unlock that. You can be intrigued by it. Like I think, you know, people are listening to us, and if something like triggers, you know, I've been having memories and so forth. That's kind of maybe a gateway for you to do some explorations.
Yeah, it's just catalyst. It's a catalyst to get you thinking and to change your thought patterns mm-hmm. to one of being self-accepting and less judgmental of the self. And then that'll just carry over between you and everyone else once you can do that. And then when you do that, what it is the subconscious. I'll tell you why that matters, is that, you know, the mind I always look at it in three layers, right? There's the conscious mind on top, the middle is the analytical mind, and then the subconscious mind is down lower. It's just a visualization, but the subconscious mind remembers everything. There's nothing hidden from the subconscious. But the analytical mind, when these thoughts come in, the first thing we do is, oh, that can't be real. I mean, I must be crazy, or I'm just making it up. And their memories trying to come through and remind you who you are.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is kind of silence the analytical mind and take the judgment out, and then it can float up to the conscious mind. That's what makes meditation amazing, is the analytical mind. You kind of put it to sleep, and then suddenly these things come into your conscious mind, and these memories and these experiences, and it changes your life.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest stumbling blocks for a lot of people. The meditation, proper meditation practice, and how to quiet that analytical mind, like you're talking about. So these insights and so forth can come through. Obviously, you have an excellent meditation practice. You're able to tap into a lot of this stuff. For me, like I said, I went to Gaia, and I had a lot of these memories, and somebody found out about it, and it's like, oh, come to Gaia. We want you to go through this, do these shows. And they did the regression on me, basically took me into those lifetimes, and just the stuff just started spilling out. The woman that did the regression said, I've never had anybody, and she's done thousands of people that has come out with so much information. It was pretty amazing. So but it seemed like I hit a brick wall after that. It's almost like I got a lot of stuff that was ready to come out, and I got sucked out, and it's like, okay, we have to build that back up again. It's been a while, but I have been building memories. So for you, are you constantly getting memories, or how's it working for you?
It really depends on me, where I'm at vibrationally. If I, like last year, I had some real health issues from a bone infection, and I just felt just terrible for months. So I wasn't really able to connect during those times because I was too focused on the physical form. But when we can kind of set it down, and meditation isn't necessarily sitting in silence. Meditation can be anything that gets you in a calm state of mind. For example, my favorite way to meditate is on a treadmill. I'll get in there, I'll put it up to the highest level, and it's like a walk, it's not a run. And so I just lock my body into that motion, and I leave my body. I am like going throughout space.
My wife Tracy's like that. She like portals out.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to be put back in my body by some unseen force, because I was getting too far out, and they're like, no, no, you got to go back. You got to go back.
That's funny. So some of the technologies that you were obviously healing technologies, is that kind of where your focus was, or did you? Because I have memories of flying ships, and I have memories of calling ships. Of course, like you talked about, the Navy and Air Force is involved in these programs. So my memories of these ships were they had consciousness. Mm-hmm. I connected with that. I had to be trained how to connect with that consciousness, because these ships won't work with just anybody. You have to have a certain level of consciousness. And then once you reach that state, then you become very connected to that ship. Do you have any experiences with that?
I absolutely do. I've been on ships that when you walk on board, it's like a little puppy that's really happy to see you after you've been gone all day long. And you can just feel that energy.
Wow.
And it knows all about you. I mean, provided you've been on the ship before.
Yeah.
The first time you enter a ship like that, if it doesn't know you, you feel a slight uncomfortable vibe. Like, who are you? What are you doing here? Yeah. And then it learns you. And then, in fact, there's a race called the Largons that actually build those ships. I don't know. Are you familiar with them? I've
never heard of them. No.
Yeah, I think I can actually, if you want to see a picture, I can show you.
Yeah, awesome. So, and this is another thing I wanted to ask you, because I have these memories, because a lot of people are like, oh, we're human, and then there's like, these other races and so forth. We incarnate in all of these different races.
Mm-hmm.
And we, like you're talking about, you have a soul family, and your soul family can be multiple different extraterrestrial races.
Absolutely. In fact, it's sort of an unwritten cosmic universal rule that when a race is able to evolve off of its planet, and travel, there's an obligation that you go and assist other lower evolving races as well. And it's sort of the full fourth to fifth density transitional phase when we give back, because if we help another race, we're helping ourselves. Because this is something that's important for people to know too, is that all of these races, even the bad ones, which there's like 5-8% of all of them are, because they're more about controlling others, not supporting others. Even the negative, what we would call a negative race, we're all on a journey to reunification with God, with Source, because they all call him Source. They call the thought that created the universe the Source, but we refer to it in the West as God. We just have different terminology, but it's the same exact thing. And so we're all on the same journey. Wow. And that's why I tell people, let's just get along. You don't have to agree with everything, but there's no other option. Even the negative ones are trying to get back to Source in their way, although it's a bit of a distraction. So the whole universe is working toward reunification with Source. So how can we not get along with people? So that's the reason that they're so supportive, and people wonder, why do they have, coalitions in every developing solar system? Why would they put the resources out just to help a lower evolving race? And it's because we all have the same goal. We're all working toward reunification. So, yeah. But here's the Largons.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the human physical body and like a different.
Yeah. But these are this is an AI. Some of them I've tried to translate over to AI image because they look better. But these are all races I drew and painted on my own, from my memories.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, that's excellent, Chris. Good job.
Oh, thanks.
So it's, again, probably helping people have these memories. My memories are, working with a lot of different races like that. You see them for who they are. I mean, like you're talking about when you come on a ship, the ship is like, I don't know. And then you prove yourself, and they're like, oh yeah, like a puppy after that. Every time you come back, you can look at a certain race, and at first you'd be like, oh, this looks a little different, but you get a okay feeling from them, and then once you get to know them, you're like, what incredible beings.
Well, and many of them have this emanation of love. Like they walk into the room, you can feel it. Yeah. You turn and look, say, what in the world is that? And many of them do, because they're more advanced, so spiritually, and so they learn to use that, frequency of love in a way that we haven't learned yet. In fact, most humans really have never felt true love. Yeah. We just haven't, because we don't have the capacity. Physical bodies don't, and the brains don't quite have the capacity. We can, but we have to practice love all the time and then move into that space, like the love of a newborn, or a love of a child. Those come as close as you're going to get in my personal experience.
Fantastic. Beautiful. So 3 20 and backs. It would make sense because you already had chosen to do that. Some people, like we're hearing, are basically kidnapped and forced to do 20 and back. So it seems like you and I we volunteered for these programs on the good side, but some people unfortunately are not working for the good side in these 20 and backs. Where did you see the difference? Like the parallel group that's running out there that's, not only up and up. They're not, focused on love, right? They're focused on, slaves and control and
Yes.
dark energies and all that kind of stuff. Where did you see that, that break, and how did you end up with the good side?
Well, I made the agreement before I came, so I already knew what side I wanted to be on. And so that's why we had them come and get me and take me. But I had experiences with some of the dark fleet, I guess, we often refer to them as,
Sure.
Where, because there's a couple things here in my brain. On a cosmic level, when anybody is from a particular planet, for example, Earth humans, and I say Earth humans because there are humans from other places as well, but Earth humans, we're all responsible for one another. I mean, down to the singular person. So if the dark fleet's out there, not even being represented by us, but they do something bad, steal, kill, kidnap, you and I are responsible for that. And we have to go figure that out. And so there was a particular circumstance where the dark fleet went, they were trying to trade, I believe it was a form of crystal. I don't remember that part, but they had an asteroid mining complex. And so the dark fleet tried to negotiate a purchase, but they wouldn't sell to them because they were part of the Confederation of Planets. And there was like an embargo. So they got angry and they left, but they came back and they attacked. They took what they wanted and killed about 300,000 of these beings. They were tall, thin grays with a triangular head. And so, long story short, I was in negotiations trying to make them okay with what happened, which is almost impossible because they were going to come to Earth or attack a colony. I don't know what they were going to do exactly, but I remember they were talking about coming to Earth and exacting revenge and then leaving the Confederation altogether. So it was an emergency, and I and two others and then security went to the asteroid, and we were in negotiation sitting in a boardroom, and it didn't go well, and I got shot and killed. The one being just ran across his chest, and he was just wearing a vest, and his skin was exposed. And then he ran his hand across his chest, and this like blue-green light came out of where our heart would be and hit me in the shoulder and knocked me back and killed me. But it's because we're responsible for the actions of those people that did that. That's why I was there, and that's why we have our embassy there to try to make things right before it escalates. And I was moved into another body, and then, I was okay after a few days, but
very nice.
It was good.
But yeah, the negotiators like yourself are very important, and on the good guy side, when guys like me, get involved, it's not going to be pretty. So that's why, it's your work is very, very, very important in that realm. We kind of see that right now with President Trump. I'm like, I can't believe we haven't gone in there just crush them, and but he's doing it, through negotiation. We're going to get it all the way to this point, and then if it's, they don't, come to terms, see the light, see the love, then we're going to have to take it to a different level. So that's what your work was obviously doing. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was really important, and it meant a lot to me. And I really wanted to, be in that position that I could help save lives, and show other races that humans are not kind of as bad as they think we are, because we are kind of as bad as they think we are.
Yeah.
We're not the most rational, race. I mean, some of us are, obviously, but if we're still killing one another, they're like, how could you do that? And how can you not be, getting along and understanding? But we're in our transition right now. So, yeah.
And we do have a very negative race of Jaco that have been influenced us for a long time and have been interbreeding with us and all that kind of stuff. So that's not helpful.
Not at all. No, and that's all part of the plan. But that's what we're kind of working through right now. So, I won't be too much longer. This Earth is going to be a much, much different place in a very positive way. So we just kind of have to get through the bumpy road between now and then.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it in the future too. Golden age. So you're let's go to the Saturn moon.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that. It looks like something out of Star Wars.
Well, interesting. It's part of soft disclosure because the I think I can show you this. I might be able to see it. So that's the moon of Mimas right there.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Death Star.
Exactly.
And there's a reason for that. Whenever the original Star Wars came out, I think it was 1973 or whatever it was. It was 3 years later. Once the first Star Wars came out, 3 years later is when Cassini flew by and took the first photos of the moon Mimas. And lo and behold, it looks just like the Death Star.
Yeah.
But that was intentional because the Confederation of Planets on Mimas was working with Spielberg. They still are.
Wow.
And the new movie coming out
is
a big deal. I haven't seen it. I don't know, but it's exciting at least. But so that's why Mimas looks like the Death Star. It's just a hint saying, okay, isn't this odd? It makes you think. And that's the whole point of it. That's what soft disclosure is. Many sci-fi films and TV shows, especially lately, are just telling us the truth left and right. So we're not too shocked, as a race.
So, I have memories of flying ships and going from one density to another, like going from the air into the water like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And connecting with my craft. And it's like the intention is there, and then the craft goes into some kind of other dimensional realm or something, and we can fly, from transition from one to the other. You probably remember that one show, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, where they had that craft. It was like a submarine, and they had a craft that would like launch, and it would go in and out of the water like it was nothing. And when I saw that, I was like, kind of like you, I was like, I remember that. It's like, I remember, flying those things somehow. But how could I? And then going through matter. Some people think that these craft are going into some kind of, and sometimes they do, through a portal or something when they go into a mountain, but it's the same thing. They're transitioning into a different frequency dimensional realm, and they can fly through a mountain and come out the other side. And that would be if they're being chased, because there are wars going on in our atmosphere. Craft are being shot down. And we see some of that. And they do back engineering on it and so forth. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, we've had thousands and thousands of ships for 40 years, if not longer.
Yeah.
And so that's the U.S. I'm referring to. We've had them for a very long time. A lot of them are actually, they weren't piloted, especially at the beginning. They were remote. So a lot of what we saw, it was us, but we couldn't talk about it. So, they just let us think what we wanted to think, which was reasonable, to think it was somebody from another planet. So a lot of them were actually us the whole time. Some of them were not. Some of the ones that were shot down, like the Roswell scenario,
right?
That was totally intentional by some fairly negative beings. And they basically sacrificed 2 synthetic beings and 1 biological being, and flew them right over the deserts, and then we shot it down. And then they came to the government and said, hey, now that you have our ship, how would you like the technology in it? It was like fiber optics and Wi-Fi and this other stuff. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, what do we got to do? And then they went and they met with Eisenhower. And he said, my people are not ready for this. So I don't want to make a deal with you, which turned out to be a good thing because these weren't the good guys. They were the
Good.
Unfortunate guys. And so he said no. So then 12 men from large corporations, we called the Majestic 12,
Yeah.
came in, contacted this race and said, the president won't make an agreement with you, but we will. So they got all this technology and how to make it. And, I think they were limited in what they really taught us, but they said the only thing we want in return, because our genetic DNA were dying off, and which was a big old lie.
Mm-hmm.
We want to abduct basically 300,000 Americans. And so the Majestic 12 agreed. They didn't have a place. They couldn't even do it legally, but they did it. But it turned out that they ended up abducting several 100,000 people. And then it became a conflict. And, and so it was just a big problem after that. But that's how it started.
I've never heard this version, but it rings true. Wow.
Yeah.
So, because we're seeing that now, this negative corporate side, that's running a parallel government type thing, and those that get out of line, that they want to suppress this information because they have control of it, or they want to keep control of it. So these scientists and so forth that are revealing their technology that they've developed over a long time through the help of the negative ETs, that's why they're killing them off.
Yeah, well, they had to get rid of the witnesses basically, and sad but true. And it ended up that they started, basically a war with us, but then we ended up with support to fight them off and push them down south into Antarctica, which they were for quite a long time. I don't really know personally that much about Antarctica other than that they were there.
Yep.
And then they also went to our moon to retreat, so. Yeah,
that's where I remember seeing them going to the moon base and training there. Is kind of like everybody's off limits. You can't fight, but there's a little tension. And the humans that are up there, we have the worst area of the moon, and then everybody else has the best areas, depending on what their level is. But that's interesting. So now I have memories of also having a home on one of the moons of Saturn, and living there, and have in the secret space program, I have a family, and so having my own moon, because of the level that I'm at, I rated a moon, the Saturn rings and so forth, because there's tons of moons. I mean, billions of moons or whatever. So of different sizes. So the moon that you're talking about, I saw where you said it's dimensional.
Yeah, it's if you wanted to locate, it's the first moon outside the visible rings of Saturn, the first one. It's about 123 miles across and in radius, and so it's not gigantic, but it's pretty big. It's a lot smaller than our moon, but yeah, it was a natural occurring body, just like our moon, but they were reworked. And so what they did was this high density race of beings, which we would refer to as angels, or whoever. We all have different terminologies.
Yeah.
They're high density, and they can create anything from thought. A lot of races can, but we will be able to soon.
Yeah.
And so they created this, reworked this moon into a station, and the space station, the moon Mimas, they created different parts of it for different density levels. And so, okay, for example, if you look up thermal images of Mimas from NASA, they can't figure out why it's hot here and cold here and hot here, and it wobbles over here. They can't figure out why. Well, the reason there's temperature fluctuations of such a large degree is because those are different areas of different density, higher density. So the higher density beings live in high temperatures. Like, for example, they live on suns. Like our own sun has a race that lives on it. But then there are others that are where we are. So our temperature range is, much more narrow and a lot cooler. But also the reason there's a wobble to Mimas is because there's an ocean in there. I think probably more than one. And the interesting thing is that right next to the Earth Embassy is a redwood forest on Mimas. That's how big the moon is.
Goodness.
And we, because it's the Earth Embassy, and so any intelligent life from Earth, is generally invited to join the embassy, and that includes Sasquatch, and they're there as well, and they live in the redwood forest because that's what their preference is, right? Being out in nature, which I totally get. It just wasn't for the bugs, but no. So we have a number of different races in the Earth Embassy. There are hundreds of people from Earth that live there. And there are actually 22, from what I knew, 22 major outposts or stations or places that Earth humans reside. 22 major ones, but we're on over 100 different planets and asteroids, and space stations. We're all over the place.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And that's just in our solar system?
Generally, but we're outside of the solar system as well. Yeah.
How far out do we go as
the furthest I'm aware of or was aware of, it was like a Betelgeuse.
Wow.
That section, I know we were there, and there's another one. I'm a very visual person. I don't remember all the names, but I can look at a star chart and like, oh yeah, we're here, and we're here, and we're here.
Yeah.
But mainly Betelgeuse because it's easy to remember.
Incredible. Wow.
Yep.
It's such a fascinating conversation. So the angelic beings, like you were talking about, so I had a Archangel Michael experience, and from that point on, I really understood the love frequency. Was able to use it everywhere I would go in combat zones. I would send out that love frequency, and there wouldn't be any more attacks. So now I have memories of going to Venus and training. That was one of my training sites where I learned that love frequency even more because my memories are there's angelics there inside Venus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, because the temperature is so high, but then they have, I don't have memories of being there. I've just heard that, they have like underground places, and they have some domes that are protected from the heat, and they can live and reside in those areas. Mm-hmm. But I don't have memories of it. But
lots of waterfalls and water and all that kind of stuff in there. So that's kind of what I remember. Yeah. And doing
a lot of ships have forests on them, and they have waterfalls. I mean, I remember ships that were like pristine, pure white, just kind of what you imagine something being super futuristic. Mm-hmm. And then there's a big doorway and a little hall, and you go in there, and it's like waterfalls and trees, and these ships are pretty amazing. We don't have any of those that I'm aware of. Ours are much more utilitarian.
Yeah.
But I've been on some pretty amazing ships.
Yeah, I've heard stories of that where it on the outside it looks like small craft, and then you go inside and it's like you're talking about huge. It's wow.
The TARDIS, right, from Doctor Who. That little tiny phone box turns into an infinity of space.
Yeah. How does that work? What kind of mathematics, dimensional frequency stuff is that going on there?
I don't know. I wish I knew.
Yeah.
But I do know it's a layered dimensional effect. That's the only thing I remember. Somehow they layer dimensions.
Yeah.
Them together. And how they compress them to an exterior, because that's the exterior of those dimensions are actually physical forms. So you can put dimensions in any size or shape or of anything. And if you have the right technology.
Yeah. And that's the problem. Like you mentioned in your book, you have to be trained. So we're trained to be dumb, to not understand any of this. You know, overcoming that. And then like you, I have memories of this stuff, but I don't know how to explain it in, you know, this realm, because we're dumbed down. We don't have the technology. We don't have the understanding, and so forth. So, but I know you're deep into meditation, and that's the way I pull a lot of this information out. If I have the time, and I can, you know, go into, sometimes I just get inspired. It's like with your book, you know, I was already, you know, this morning I was like going into these realms, as meditative realms, where I could start to pull that information out again. That's there for all of us, but like you're talking about, we come in with a veil, and we're forgetful. Yeah. So books like yourself and this conversation, a lot of people are saying, this is a great conversation. I'm learning so much. And that's true, because people will, they'll start to awaken. Yeah. And the veil will drop a little bit, and then they'll get a piece of information. They'll be with that for a little bit, and they'll understand it, and then they'll come back for more. So yeah. That's amazing. So yeah, you're contributing quite a bit. So yeah, explaining this stuff, like back again to your healing wand. Mm-hmm. You know, you put the magnets together and so forth, and all that's, you know, another frequency thing. Tell us a little bit more about that, because I'm getting excited about getting off the show and buying one. So some of these people are out there already buying it.
Yeah. Well, basically, since I explained that it creates a vortex of energy, it doesn't do anything except for amplify earth energy, ambient energy around us. Because normally, if we were grounding every day, we were going barefoot, and we weren't living in houses, we would be connected to the earth in a way that we would be much more telepathic, much more psychic, we'd heal much more quickly. We're not. Definitely. You know, all connecting to the earth, we're not connecting enough. Some people obviously do, but, you know, majority of us don't. So this kind of replaces that. Yeah. And it just brings that energy in. And that's the energy our body uses for healing. And it uses that energy, you know, for communication. It balances, you know, because we've got to balance our chakras and, you know, our energy centers. And when we can do that, then we're open to communication, because our frequency raises up, and then they can kind of come down, and we can meet one another in the middle. So that's kind of the whole point of raising our vibration and balancing the chakras. It's not, you know, also it's better for our body to be balanced, energetically speaking, because it's just an energy flow. And so that helps with all of that. But yeah, it's each device has 8 carats of micro diamonds, and it's these 13 magnets in the handle in series, and it's split down the middle like a iron rod, sort of like a Baghdad battery. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like those ancient batteries.
So they lit up those temples and stuff too.
Yes. And they healed. They would lay them on the body, and the body, it would generate energy, and also create light, what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
and I recommend everybody go to your website, and because you have a nice video where you talk about this really, really well. Really.
Yeah.
Deep. Yeah.
Yeah. It's much more inclusive. It's like, I don't know, 11 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. And so the DEAMS itself only emanates piezoelectric and magnetic energy for the most part. That's all it does. But it's what our body needs and is starving for. So then our body does everything. We heal ourselves. Our body heals itself. And this is just support. That's all it is. Incredible, Chris.
Yeah, thanks. Any final words? We're definitely going to have to do a lot more shows in the future. But any other things you'd like to share at this point?
Well, I would like to share that you and I, all of us, are much more connected than we realize.
Yeah.
we are really, truly all one. It's just we have been told to judge one another, to separate us, and to keep us from getting along so that we don't become more powerful than the powers that be. And that's what they're concerned about, is that we'll get together, but that's exactly what we need to do. And that's what I suggest we do. So a quick little practice to do that is when you look into the face of another person, whether in person or, on video or photo, look into the face of a stranger, of somebody you love, and see the face of God. Ooh. And you look into the mirror, looking at yourself, and see the face of God, and realize we're all one, and we're all here for the same purpose. We just don't all remember yet.
Wow, that's just beautiful. Well done, Chris. And people are asking about your website again. I put it in the chat and it's in the description box. But tell them what's your website?
It's Deems, DEEMS. So Deems Company spelled out. DeemsCompany.com.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful. Because I know probably people will listen to it on their phone, or we put this on Audible too, and so people can enjoy it. And we'll put some clips together. It'll be amazing. People are going to love this one. Yeah, very, very exciting. Very exciting times. Along the lines that you're talking about, the combat aspect. When me and my groups were called in to do that, we tried to do the combat as minimalized as possible. Unfortunately, that's why I was killed probably several times that I remember, because we were trying to minimize it, because every one of those entities that were taken out, reverberated back to us to a certain extent. So that's one of the things, again, like you're talking about, look at everyone and see the face of God. So it's tough to do that. And
yeah.
But certain levels you have to do it. But yeah. So
you don't have to understand them or agree with them. You just understand that they're a different aspect of the same being. Beautiful. Experiencing all possibilities.
That's good. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Really, really great show. On a whole different level, I believe. So it was great. Great connecting with you. Great. You open up so much more for me. I've been kind of challenged a little bit in this secret space program stuff a little bit, because James Rink's gone. He was bringing a lot of stuff in. So they try to keep shutting us down, but we'll keep it going.
Yeah.
Thanks so much,
James. So great.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right, Michael. Thank you for asking me here again.
Yeah, and lots of love to you. Thanks a lot.
You too. Bye.
Bye.